Good afternoon. June 6th, Jason Phillips from Auto Appraise, autoappraise.com, doing a pre-purchase inspection on a very original 1973 Plymouth Duster, slant 6 car, all OEM paint, chrome, etc. Getting ready to go through and do a video pre-purchase inspection for an out-of-state buyer. If you need service like this, 800-301-3886. Bear in mind that only the purchaser of this service gets access to this video, and he makes his decision, he or she, if they want the car. And later on, this video will become part of several videos I have on my channel. So when you're looking at it, this car already may be sold and moved on. But if you need service like this, that's the purpose of the video, to show you what I go over and try to give you a handle on what it is you're looking for, what you're about to purchase, what's going to show up. So I've got the car jacked up in the garage. Let's go underneath it first. Structure-wise, looking at these inner aprons and the front rails and the core support, it's evident that nothing's ever been taken apart. And the car's never been tonked in the front end. Everything looks really good. There's a little bit of dusting of some yellow touch-up paint on these inner fenders, but just dusted over the original paint on the sheet metal. Nothing's really been restored, per se. A fender tag FY1, lemon twist, I believe, in 1973. D34 is, oops, I better point it right at it. D34 is the smaller automatic transmission. 904. Small rear end. Slant 6 225. Let me hop underneath the car. Still has the R21 AM FM radio option code and has that radio in the car. So the frame rails, they have a little bit of yellow makeup paint. Cosmetic is all. Nothing has been really, again, restored. Looking at these front bumper mounts, they triangulate nicely. There's no tears in the die holes. And everything looks very good, just like that. Inside of the inner fenders, little sound deadener up there. Backsides have surface rust, but all very good shape. And symmetrically speaking, that's what you see on the other side as well. Bottom of the lower radiator support looks really nice. Nobody's put a chain on it and pulled anything or caused any great stress on it. Let me turn around here. Little cosmetic refreshing on those brake drums to match the paint. But upper and lower control arms are largely stock and original. The car's showing 10,000 miles, which is likely 110. Ball joint boots slightly separated at the top, and that one's just kind of aged, but it seems to be holding grease still. Backing plates have not been restored. Suspension appears largely stock. If some components were changed, it's been a while. Ball joint tie rod end boots, I'm sorry, in pretty decent shape. Nothing's really split and deteriorated. Bottom of the oil pan's pretty clean. I look there and I've got one drip beneath. Got a little bit of a weep coming from the power steering pump or line, right? Let's see if I can get a look at it right there. But nothing gathering on the ground to speak of. Uh, 904 transmission pan. Back here in this tire splash area, everything's nice and solid. Rails are nice and clean. No tears in the die holes. Looks really good. Let's move to the other side. So we have the exact same scenario on this side of the car as we do the passenger side. Again, nothing really to report regarding damage or deterioration. Insides of the fenders, back sides of the apron structure all the same. Boot up there in the top ball joint's a little more torn. I didn't mention, but the car has new shocks. Also in the back there's new leaf spring perches. Front suspension looks largely the same. Splash area the same. Frame rails, again, no tears in the die holes. Got that single exhaust system going back. A little cosmetically deteriorated, but doesn't sound too bad. All right, I'll show the rear of the pans. I didn't have a chance to speak to the buyer prior, so I'm not really sure what his intentions are or what his expectations are. But what I can tell you is that from a solid perspective, the car is super, super solid. Got cosmetic oxidation along the bottoms of the rockers, but you can see that factory overlap seam where the rocker and the quarter join is untouched, unscathed. My digital paint meter shows that to be true. And the bottom of the car, left to right, looks just like that. Just really good floor structure. Instead of moving, I'll just move over here. Go back up this way. So, all very nice. The transmission was pulled out and rebuilt by this current owner. He said he has a receipt for it. I haven't had a chance to look at it yet, but you can see it looks shiny and nice. And he reports that it shifts down the road without any issues, and we'll see that shortly. There's the smaller rear end. Back underneath the rear end of the vehicle, you can see the quarter panel tabs are still present on the bottom, and you can see these spot welds. Let me see if I can get my camera on the right spot, my flashlight. That all looks nice and clean. Those extension panels, hard to say. The trunk pan was reportedly changed, and I looked at it and got good still photos of it for the upcoming buyer, potential buyer, and looks really good. If they did a replacement panel, it looks nice. And these inner splash panels, inner quarter extensions, tabs are present on the inside ones anyway. So rails look good, no tear marks in the die holes. Fuel tank does not appear to be leaking. The small rear end, no leaks on the ground. Air shocks present in the rear. And then there's another shot of the floors before we get out from underneath the car. New shackles extended to put on the rear end here. Leaf springs are fairly level. So overall, just a really good solid Survivor underbody with the component of a new trunk pan installed. Last thing to note, the tail panel support coming all along behind where the bumper is mounted is nice and clean. The radius is still there. Doesn't look like it was ever smashed and pushed in. Looks pretty good. While I'm down here, I'll show the bottom of these bumper extensions. This one is in pretty good shape. This one's got a rust hole in it. I don't know if those are available. I think they probably are. Down here from a trim perspective, the taillights have some light patina on the bezels and some age cracking in the lenses. Again, fairly original for what you would expect on a 49-year-old car. We had to fire it up for 30 seconds to pull it back in the garage, but the engine's still fairly cold. Engine temperature is 81, 82 degrees right now. So go ahead and drop that down and we'll back it out. Sounds like a Chevy, doesn't it? Well, there's our brake lights. Can you go ahead and put it in reverse? There's our reverse lights. While you're backing it up, will you try the turn signals? Okay, we got one. All right, thank you. This owner informs me that he replaced the side marker lights. Hear a little rattle upon engagement. So I went all the way around the car with a digital paint meter and shot still photos to show the depth. Would you try the headlights and the brights, please? Parking lights, headlights, brights, turn signals. Thank you. Yep. So it seems to run quiet. It's almost not worth putting a paint meter on this car because I imagine the video shows the clarity of what's here, but 1.17 mils for original factory paint thickness, that's pretty thin. 1.6, but that's the way it was with Mopar. They didn't use a lot of paint to cover the cars. 1.72, so it's 1 and 2 all the way around. I have the still photos that the onlooker can check out. Looks like maybe they sprayed a little bit of touch up here. I'll go around the body and just highlight some of the physical components / damage. So you can see that the paint's faded through basically down to the primer coat in spots. Would you mind opening up the trunk for me? This quarter panel has a crease here that extended to here and here. This is probably the worst body damage on the car right there. There's a little bit of rust deterioration on the splashes on both sides. Small ding in the wheel opening trim there and there. But as far as any heavy rot or decay, it doesn't really exist. Just light general wear from usage. And so on and so forth. The car still presents pretty straight down both sides. And, you know, from a short distance, has a really nice presentation. Up close, you can begin to pick apart the anomalies of old age and just, you know, worn through the paint in various spots. What's amazing is that the car has all of its original glass, including the windshield with the original Chrysler Pentastar marking. The windshield has some wiper rub marks and some general deterioration. A little bit of rust here that somebody added some sealer along the way. A few door dings here and there to discuss. But condition-wise, again, it's really consistent all the way around. No real color mismatch to talk about. This is probably the worst rust in the car. There's some pinholes down here, low in the quarter panel splash. Tires have been replaced. 14-inch all-season Cooper Cobra radials. And again, just some general age and fatigue in the chrome. Original jack is present. Older marker lights that he changed out. Trunk is in really good shape. That original P20575 B14 bias tire, all dry cracked. Wheel tubs are in nice shape. They look that way on both sides. Up here in the jambs, just nice overlap seams from the tail panel into the quarter panel, all nice. Some surface rust that could stand to be wire brushed out and cleaned up. The trunk lid lip is in good shape. There's oxidation here. A lot of that could come off with rubbing compound or naval jelly. It's not going to all come off, but it's mostly, I would say 80% surface rust. Not really heavily deteriorated or anything like that. Probably looks worse in the video. And some area in here that could stand to be cleaned up. So the doors, the windows roll up and down nicely. Lifting up on the doors. The whole body moves. Watch this. I don't know if you can see it, but there's no hinge pin sag really to speak of. And the surface rust again here along the door seams is mostly just, let me get a better shot of that. Some naval jelly would really clean that up to a greater degree. Original VIN tag present. Original VIN on the dash. I couldn't find a VIN on the core support because it's covered with a sticker from the factory. It's still there. These rubber sweeps, these belt moldings, are dry cracking and aged. I do believe you can get those catalog style. So this is a D2X9 on the trim tag, indicates a black deluxe, I think D for deluxe bench seat configuration, which is what we have here. I notice in the seat stitching that you see that light blue stitching. I don't know if that's available aftermarket or not. Somebody may want to comment on that. Comment in a positive way, would you? Say something nice. But whether or not these are replacement seat covers or original equipment, they're really, really nice. They're almost too nice to be original. This is a loop carpet, and it has definitely been replaced because it is really nice. The door panels show very nicely. I don't know if those were replaced at some point or not, but they're in good shape. Screw's been off of that one before. Quarter panel trim showing nicely. The reason I thought the seats were likely original is because the match front to rear is pretty darn good. And the rear actually has a few pock marks where some dog or cat toenails might have gone through over the years. Nothing horrific, but there's some puncture wounds on the rear seat cover. Package tray is faded out with appropriate looking age. Headliner and C-pillar covers show nicely. Bear in mind the dome light works. So the interior shows nicely. The dash is in good shape. This dash may have been recovered with a black vinyl at some point. Hard to say. It's pretty smooth. Got a little lump over there on the passenger side. Some clouding you can see on that original windshield. R21, I believe, is the option code on that factory AM/FM radio. The car doesn't have too many options. Got a couple of books in the glove box, and the glove box liner is clean. So, kick panels look clean. The wiring harness looks original. Door jambs are very solid. All original PPG markings. I believe the trim tag showed V6X and V8X. I'm going to lift the hood back up for the side and the rear stripes. X means black. So there is the body and the paint. We've talked a bit about the chrome. These wheels are in nice shape. Factory wheels look like they may have been repainted. Caps on the rings are in reasonably good shape. The tire tread is like new. No real ills to report there. Again, just casual general wear all over, but pretty even wear. Front bumper condition matches that of the rear, except the bottom of the extensions are in good shape. Got these tiny little sexy bumper extensions. A little bit of age cracking in the marker lens bezels. What else? I guess it's about time to take it for a ride, but I am 7 to 8 feet away from the car at this position. I'll do this from all four corners so the onlooker has a perspective on what the car looks like from a short distance. Here's about 10 to 11 feet. Here is about 10, 11 feet. Maybe 8 feet. Back out to 10 or 11 feet. So there we have it. Owner's going to drive out. I'm going to drive back. I don't think I showed this door earlier, but same thing. I'm going to lift the door up as well. And bushing sag is non-existent. Seat belt equipped. Door closes nicely. Shoulder restraints. Glove box works. A couple of books inside. Looks like the glove box liner might have been changed. Alright, while we're pulling her out, let's go through the paces. Horn works. Bye, everybody. This radio picks up country.
Yes, it does.
Alright. Fan blower is operating.
It heats up good.
Is it?
Yep.
I can feel it down there. Feel it up there. Okay. Hazard lights work. Right there. There we go. Let's see. And they do. And then you want to turn the inside and turn signals on one more time. I saw them working earlier. That's good. Alright, that's good. Aftermarket gauges, we're showing about 45 pounds of oil pressure, 15 volts, 15-ish. A little bit of gas on the meter. Is the gas gauge working?
Yes.
Okay. And the temperature is way down low. This is what James Taylor called driving down a country road.
We're at 35.
35. All right.
We'll get more.
What's the top speed on this car? 45?
120.
120.
Like I said, the steering needs to be fixed.
Well, I mean, it looks like an older original suspension, but it looks like steering wheel's holding pretty true, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You're not fighting it too much.
Nope.
Seems like the tranny shifts out okay. It's our odometer at 10,540.8. Seems like it's rolling.
Dirt road, so we ain't gonna take
we can turn around. I just wanted to feel the tranny shift, and matter of fact, if you want, we'll
here's your brakes.
Hit the pause button. Oh yeah, let go of the steering wheel a little bit, will you? Just pulls a little bit to the left.
Oh yeah.
Okay. You ever adjusted those? You ever adjusted your shoes, or you ever had them apart?
No. Nope.
All right. You want to switch up?
Yeah.
All right.
Well, let's switch out here on the road.
Yeah, I guess we shouldn't stop in the middle of the road, should we?
We're in the boondocks.
All right, taking over the controls. Let's see if we can prove this 120.
You know what? You never know, though. Hold that steering wheel.
Okay, nice smooth shift. I felt it both times. Fingers on the wheel. No knees. Considering the way the suspension looks, I'd say that drives pretty straight. Temperature gauge is coming up. Gas gauge appears to be working. I'm going to click the dash lights on right now, but I'm not looking down. I just show them for the viewer to see if they, do you know if the dash lights work?
Yes, I do.
Okay, there's on, there's off. There's on, there's off.
They work.
Driving into a beautiful sunset tonight. Jason from Auto Appraise wrapping up a pre-purchase inspection on a 1973 Plymouth Duster. Slant 6 automatic car. Power steering feels good. I note that it has a little bit of a leak. It's a little bit of play in the steering. How much further do we go down here?
Just a little bit more.
Okay, I'm going to let my hands off the, just not off the wheel, but step on the brakes a little bit, and the pedals up nice and high. Really, it's kind of indecisive about which way it wants to pull. Didn't seem to pull too much to the left like it did with you, but try that one more time. Am I going to pass your driveway down here?
Next driveway.
Okay, let me try this again. Yeah, so it's got a little pull to the... Probably could stand to take the brakes apart and clean and adjust the drums, or the shoes rather. Pedals firm. Downshift looks good. Turn signal, does it cancel on its own? It does. Let's see this one. Let's see this one, and it does. All right, hitting some plus markers there. I'll let you do the honors of pulling this in the garage. So to confirm, we have a warmed up oil pressure just over 40 pounds. We got voltage, we're charging. Heater, blower, and fan, and the levers are working. AM, FM radio. I didn't check the AM, but I don't think anybody's on AM anymore.
It works.
What about the wipers?
This one right here does not work, but
Okay.
they say you can get under there and pop it back on.
If I turn them on, will the driver's one sweep?
Yes.
And will it cause any grief?
No.
Okay. All right. So basically the wipers come disconnected from the wiper transmission or the arm?
Correct.
Okay.
They say they can push it back on.
Okay. Let's get out and check out the tailpipe and listen to it run for a minute. Oh. Yeah. It's got the hood open for us. Sounds like a sewing machine, doesn't it? I checked the oil, it looks good and clean. Transmission fluid's nice and pink. The transmission was reportedly recently rebuilt. Yep, owner says he has a receipt. I'll view it after I get off video here. The coolant is in good shape. He reports that he replaced the motor mounts, and then what else did you do?
So far, the transmission, the motor mounts, all the shocks, the tires.
The tires, okay.
Yep.
How far have you driven the car?
Oh, good Lord. It takes me an hour to get to work. I drove to work one day and back. A couple of car shows.
Okay.
And that's about it.
Alrighty. Alright, Jason from Auto Appraise. Thanks for hanging out. Pre-purchase inspection completed. June 6th, 2023.